I met Sue. I was just looking to get started with a little bit of boxing training, boxing coaching, and straight away she was just all over me like a rash on the pads. Non-stop pressure, 12 rounds, not many people can do that. And hats off to her with the training there. Other than boxing as well, in between rounds and at the end of the session we have little chats and stuff about mental health, and I just stand there listening. To be honest, she knows what she's talking about. There's a lot to learn from her. It's boss to have met her.
Sue and just like everyone in this school has been so just amazing in getting everyone involved, and just the kind of like family atmosphere that she creates, the love that she's instilled for the sport and the atmosphere and relationship that she develops with you. It's just what keeps you coming back and coming back. It's not just the jiu-jitsu that you kind of fall in love with, it's also the family atmosphere of everyone that's around, and that's definitely something that Sue's been a major part of developing. And I see it in the way that she's been interacting with all the adults here and all the kids, and you can really see just how much of an impact she's having on all of their lives. I think what I love so much about jiu-jitsu, and particularly what Sue preaches with jiu-jitsu, is how it mixes into just every aspect of your life, and you just teaches you so much about how to just be a better person and just continue to grow and always learn.
I have to be honest, and I would say that my jiu-jitsu journey was accidental. I never even thought about doing martial arts as a child, and it was only when my friends suggested attending a local martial arts school that I was more intrigued and wanted to go along. The opportunity to go to a self-defense class was an escape from my everyday life. It was a little bit exciting. My first jiu-jitsu class fired my imagination and inspired me to believe that I could be more than I felt, and that is why I continue to go training week after week. Looking back now, I realise I was suffering from low self-esteem and confidence because of the skin grafts that had covered my body. Getting that exposure to jiu-jitsu slowly began to change my life.
First met Sue at the age of 23, and we just become friends from there, and suddenly we bumped into each other in the Cowbon camp, where Sue was very, very shy of coming out because Sue has loads of scars on her legs and wasn't very confident showing them. Where we had a bit of banter, it was either go out with them or we have to spar in the changing room. So she went out in the shorts. She never looked back from that moment. We used to bugger off to other gyms. We went to the A1 studios up in Liverpool. We did get asked not to come again. We killed one another for 5 rounds in there. When we got out of the ring, the coach asked us not to come back to A1 because we were too violent with each other in the ring. But outside of the ring, we're touch good friends. If you want a cuddle, you get a cuddle out of Sue. If you don't want a cuddle, she won't give you a cuddle, she'll give you a mouthful. She's a full-hearted lady whose dad would be proud of where she's come. She's opened up on the Instagram and we all read it. You know you can approach Sue at any moment with anything, and she always have a reply for you.
I got introduced to martial arts with a friend, and he happened to train at Musha Martial Arts Academy based on Queen's Drive. Used to go up the stage in there. There used to be this really high desk, and Sue's little head would pop out from the desk, and this desk is about 5 foot high. You see Sue's little head pop over the desk in there, and she introduced me to a few classes what were on, and just got the bug for training. Fell in love with the training, fell in love with the people in the gym, and I'm with Sue, and I made good friends, and me and Sue are still friends to this day. And we'd always have a laugh, and then Sue opened up to me about her past. You know, Sue's been through quite some traumatic things, especially in the childhood, you know, exposed to them sorts of things is kind of what's got her on this journey today, I believe.
I spent my early childhood in Hague Heights in Everton. Everyone called them the Piggeries because they were basically slum housing. It was the 10th of December 1975, exactly 12:01. A fire ripped through the house, the fire exits were blocked, the lifts didn't work, and my mother stood on the balcony with me in her arms screaming for help. We were trapped with nowhere to go.
And there was no survivors or 6 people other than myself. My mother was DOA and my younger brother was DOA. Pamela and her boyfriend John passed away through the fumes. Pamela was pregnant. They were due to get married, I believe, on day after Boxing Day. And I have no recollection of any of this event.
But one thing I do know is my mother sacrificed her life for me. She laid over me to protect me from the fumes and the flames. In that very moment, how do you act? How do you do something like that? When the fire crew went back in to check the property, they found a little red fire engine untouched in the middle of the hall. That's something that my brother Carl and I used to play on. I was rushed to hospital. I had 6 surgeons working on me. It was a frantic race to get the clothing off me, which was nylon clothing, which unfortunately was stuck to the skin. I remember being in hospital for many months. I think it was 3 months. At the time of the accident, my dad was seriously ill. He was dying of pneumonia in hospital. He was given the last rites 3 times. I really think he knew something was going on and he fought to stay alive. I have no recollection at all of this event, as I said, other than what I've been told. But it stays as a memory for me every day in my life, making me realise the sacrifice that my mother made and how I must move forward in my life to make sure her memory and my father's memory stays alive.
Okay, so known Sue for over 10 years. Joined her first full-time dojo in Liverpool in 2011. She's become a close friend, more like a sister to me now. We're very close, to the point where she's become the godmother of my child. She's a very special person who deserves every accolade she's achieved so far in jiu-jitsu and in the martial arts, and in her personal life as well.
My schooling was difficult because my scars were clearly visible. Children would mock me and bully me throughout my schooling. My dad supported me the best way he could, and we would talk through it, but I knew it would upset him, so I only gave him little snippets of what went on. One day, walking home from school, I knew there was a young lad walking behind me. He'd come up behind me, threw his tie around my neck and tried to strangle me. I didn't know what to do. I kind of faffed my arms around, moved around a little bit, and then he'd released the tie and let go. I never told my dad about that because I was embarrassed because I didn't know what to do. It was a short while later, my friends said they were going to go to a martial arts class, a self-defence class, which was in Norris Green. So after many arguments, my dad let me go, and in all honesty, I never looked back.
So I met Sue when I was 18 years old. I used to be just a kid, doing nothing, no desire to do nothing. She's changed my life so much. We've been training partners, I've been a rookie for the past 4 or 5 years. As much as a coach and a mentor, she's also a good friend. My confidence came through the roof. Even in life in general, never mind in the gym, approach life with just a more confident aspect. Sue will help anyone devote their life to martial arts. 4 or 5 hours Monday to Friday. We'll come in on weekends to help lads train. We'll even jump on with bigger lads because she's not afraid to get in the deep end. And sometimes be the nail as well as be the hammer.
It's been amazing because whenever I have an issue, I've always been able to just text her and talk to her. Whenever she's had an issue, I've said to her she can always give me a text, give me a call, and she has done. For example, just painting the gym, I've been able to come down when I can and just help her paint. When I've had troubles in work, I've been able to talk to her about that, and she's just been a great ear and just a really good friend, and I really appreciate her.
I've been training with Sue for just over 5 years now, and she's taught me loads. Just apart from actual jiu-jitsu, she's taught me how to be a better person because Sue's watched me grow up. I've been coming here since I was a kid, so she's basically family to me. She's not only taught me jiu-jitsu, but she's taught me how to better myself. It's more became a way of life for me now because I come from school and I just train. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 or 6 years now, so I can't live without it. It's part of my daily life.
I've known Sue for 20 years on the combat community, MMA, and also working with her for volunteering. She's confident, she's very robust, and she's very driven in what she does throughout her life. She's also helped me through my company and a bit of a mentor and guided me through, showing me the ropes through as a CIC and putting me company through doing that. I've done some voluntary work for Sue to say thank you, and in doing so with the Thai boxing classes, some MMA classes as well. Bit of a can-do attitude. Sue gives everyone that can-do attitude.
I am not ashamed to say that in 2008, when my father passed away, I went to see my doctor because I was struggling. He recommended that I go to see a counsellor. I was very fortunate that the gentleman who counselled me became a long-time friend. We talked about meditation and how it would help me move forward. After the sessions were finished, I asked if I could join his local meditation group, and I attended Stonewater Zen in Liverpool, and I have to be honest, I've never looked back. It was very strange turning up for the first time. Lots of people sitting in stillness, very quiet, no mobile phones, nobody chatted. The silence was astounding. I went home and I slept like an absolute log. I was absolutely hooked. The openness and the spaciousness was absolutely unbelievable. 1 night a week turned to 3 days. I really enjoyed the correlations with martial arts. There was so much crossover. Zen practice for me was kind of like the other side of the coin. I kind of felt like I had arrived home. As the years passed, this passion grew and grew. In 2014, I asked to be ordained as a Buddhist priest.
So I really look up to Sue as how disciplined she is, and doing so she's become an ordained monk, and that's shown resilience and making a work plan and set in stone what she should do, how she should live a life in regards to others and take others first before herself. That's also a big one for Sue.
Tokudo, also known as leaving home ceremony, is about finding your peace and understanding. It is about losing attachment. Part of the service is that a few days before the event you will have your head shaved, completely shaved. The service is absolutely beautiful. Connection, the love, the warmth is beyond words. When the ceremony finished, I felt like a weight had been lifted. It's like something was different, and I don't mean that to sound pretentious. I just felt peace. I actually believe this is my calling, not just as a martial artist, but as a friendly face that people can talk to, someone to open up to, someone just to be there. It was ultimately about serving my community and serving those around me. I had created a safe space for children and adults to come and train. This seemed very fitting that I could also offer pastoral service to those who were struggling.
I've known Sue for the best part of over 10 years now. I originally started training with her in my early 20s. She had a gym in a different location. I just remember it was a really friendly atmosphere, great experience, great training, no pressure to compete or do anything like that. A couple of years later, I ended up having kids of my own. When they were about 5 or 6, wanting to start to get into martial arts themselves, I thought no better place really to get involved with Sue's. So it's a great place, and how she is with the kids is really brilliant. The kids come along, loved every minute of it. They've been coming now for a good few years. I've seen the confidence come along. They've grown as people. They were always quite shy kids now. They're humbly confident. I can see them standing up for themselves, and even the friends. Me and my partner had a letter from the school informing us that my daughter had actually stood up for a kid who wasn't in her class, wasn't one of her friends, who was being bullied by a group of other kids in a school. She stepped in, stopped that from happening, and reported the kids to the school teachers.
My first Japanese Jiu-Jitsu lesson was at Ella Green Comprehensive School. I was extremely nervous about attending the first session, but I was with my mates, so I had an uncanny confidence. The hourly session went past really quickly, and we were learning techniques that are still taught today. My passion for Jiu-Jitsu grew so much that 1 night a week ended up turning into 6. And I went to Crocker Sports Centre, I went to Lowlands, and then I travelled far and wide. I've never looked back on my Jiu-Jitsu journey, and I'm so fortunate that it's brought me so much joy in my life. As a shy child overwhelmed with life, I can say that martial arts in general is something we should get all our children involved in. It gives us strength, it gives us confidence, it gives us resilience, and it really teaches us about ourselves, our feelings, our emotions, and how they play such a big part in our life. I am fortunate to have had many great teachers: Kenny Blundell, Eric Marshall. I trained with Paul Gagan, Jimmy Pape, Bobby Ashworth, Kenny Culshaw, John Greenall, teachers who are still today sharing their knowledge and their passion for Jiu-Jitsu. I competed for a span of 10 years, starting in 1993. I really enjoyed competing. I think it made me sharp, it gave me confidence, it made me really look at myself as a different person. I enjoyed the nervousness and the feelings that came with it, and I enjoyed coaching the children and preparing them for competitions also.
I've known Sue since I was 9-10 years old. She was very close with the guy who trained me, Martin Cunningham. And straight away from when I first started training, he told me, go and see Sue, she will look after you. And she fitted me for my first ever gi. So she's been very strongly involved in my martial arts career since I was a kid. She's always made me feel very welcome in the club. Anytime they've had a grading, she's always invited me down. I've invited guys from our club down as well. And the two clubs have just had a really strong relationship. As a person, she's just lovely. She's so nice, she's so kind. She's always made me feel welcome. And yeah, I don't think there's much else you can say about her. She's just a really lovely person.
Jiu-Jitsu gives me the strength to be confident and keeps me fit, and it's just an amazing opportunity, especially with Sue, because she's just so kind. Sue's amazing. She's been dead nice to me, she's helped me learn, and she's just an amazing teacher all around. She's always so happy and someone you can just talk to.
In 2008, my father passed away and left me a sum of money. This was a chance for me to take control of my own martial arts destiny. I felt I needed to do something good with the money. Something for him. It was up to me to make the most of my skills and establish an academy of my own. I always wanted to create a space where children could flourish. A place where they could feel safe, gain confidence, raise self-esteem, and a place where they could learn the skills and the values needed in everyday life. I embarked on a journey as head coach and founder of Mushin Combat Academy. The gym ethos has changed over the years, and certainly the look of the gym. I believe I have now created my vision, and I could not do this without the help and support of my Yadansha. I have had so many positive experiences and life lessons from my martial arts journey, and I suppose the most important thing for me is the revelation of self-discovery. There are many strong male role models for Jiu-Jitsu, and I just hope that somewhere within there that I can inspire other women to take up martial arts also, because I firmly believe that we can do anything that we put our minds to. We can triumph over adversity, regardless of our gender, our background and our social standing.
In 2014, my dad was diagnosed with cancer and he was only 47 years of age. He got 6 months left to live. At the time, I couldn't deal with it, didn't know how to deal with it. I kind of went off on a tangent and I ran away and I stopped training and I stopped teaching. I ended up losing my job of 9 years. I became homeless, so I ended up with liver failure, kidney failure, tried to take my own life numerous times. And in the backdrop sort of that, like I thought I pushed everyone away, but there were people that were still in the background that tried to help and wanted to help. The people that I hadn't pushed away and the people closest to me at the time, and it was Sue. There's another guy as well who I feel needs to mention, Steve Hughes, and it was these two people that reached out, which was the help that I needed. Now, you know what, I'm pleased to say that I've been around recovery since 2016. Through Sue's own experiences, she passed them on to me of how to deal with things it was more attraction rather than promotion. She never forced anything upon me, she was always in the wings, doing what she needed to do in order to be there for me when the pieces fell apart. What I've done is always stayed in contact with Sue, and what Sue does is through her actions and through her ways and the teaching and stuff, it inspires people, it inspired me. With the inspiration comes belief, with the belief we achieve.
Known Sue for many years. When I came back to Liverpool 6 years ago, I found out she actually trained with my fighting partner. He was her teacher, Alan Perrypoint. We just met up at the Vizachli headquarters. They were doing a seminar and she was there with her group, and we just got talking, and ever since then we've stayed friends. I've done a couple of seminars with her and she's been on quite a few with me. She's a credit to the martial arts world. She trains hard, always has done. I look forward to seeing her take her 8th down, and I'm pleased she's celebrating her 40th.
I first met Sue joining Jiu-Jitsu as a young child, and from day one she instantly looked after me. She took me under her wing, We trained together in Croxteth, in Everton Park, and I've just stayed with Sue ever since. As others have moved on to other gyms or other clubs or quit, and me and Sue just really stayed together and trained together for over 30 years. For me, Sue is probably one of the strongest people I've ever met. You know, when you hear her life story and what she's been through, and how she's never beaten up, she never has a bad word to say about anyone. She's always looking at the positive things in life, and to be honest, she's always at the other end of a phone call. She truly is one of the strongest people I know. You know, it's not for me to tell her story, but for how she's coped with it and moved on and got to where she is with a smile on her face is commendable, really. And for me, it's been 30 years, but I'd like to think there's another 30 years of working and training together as well.
The sun and the moon don't show up in the sky for me. Life was given to me. The greatest gift in life is to find your purpose.